This is Bernie Bishop. Welcome back to B5 Bible Study Network. Thank you for joining once again. Today we're going to go over 1 Corinthians 13, the love chapter. I'm sure some of you are already aware of this chapter already. A lot of times it's easy at weddings and so on. But we're going to go over the chapter, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 1 to 13 today. Before we do that, let's go ahead and have a word of prayer. God, we thank you for your love, God, for your mercy, your grace, Lord, for your love, God. Your love truly endures forever, Lord. Thank you for that you love us like you do, Lord. Help us be compelled by your love to love others, God. Speak to me through your word right now. Take care of us in Jesus' name, pray, Lord. Amen. So, like I said, we're going to go over 1 Corinthians 13, verses 1 to 13. If I speak human or angelic languages, but you do not have love, I am a sounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have faith so that I can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. Verse 3, if I donate all my goods to feed the poor, and if I give my body in order to boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind, love does not envy, is not boastful, is not conceited, does not act improperly, is not selfish, is not provoked, and does not keep a record of wrongs. Love finds no joy in unrighteousness, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. But as for prophecies, they will come to an end. As for languages, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will come to an end. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. Verse 10, but when the perfect comes, the partial will come to an end. When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put aside childish things. But now we see indistinctly as in a mirror, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I will know fully, as I am fully known. Now these three remain, faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love. So that's actually the Holman Christian Standard Bible. Now I'm going to go over to the NIV. It's a little different, so I'm going to go to the NIV right now. It says, now I will show you the most excellent way. If I speak in the tongues of men and of angels, but I have not love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have faith that can move mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and surrender my body to the flames, but have not love, I gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it is not rude, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. Verse 7, it always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part, but when perfection comes, the imperfect disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put childish ways behind me. Now we see that but a poor reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully as I am fully known. And now these three remain, faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love. So I went over two different versions about this chapter because they're a little bit different. So we're going to go through some differences right now as well. So starting at first, verse 1 says, if I speak human or angelic languages but do not have love, I'm a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. So even speaking these wonderful languages, but if you don't have love, it doesn't make any sense, right? So it says a note here, if not accompanied by love, the ability to speak human or angelic languages would be unbearable to others, like misused musical instruments. So basically, if you're not doing it in love, it's like you're not using your instrument right. As far as if you're in an orchestra, you're not using the instrument right, it can sound really crazy, right? So if you're not doing things how you're supposed to be doing it in love, and speaking languages in love, and speaking to people in love, then it's like a resounding symbol that's out of place. So make sure that when you talk to anybody, make sure you speak to people in love. Otherwise, it's useless, it's meaningless. So make sure that whenever you talk to somebody, whether if you have a disagreement about somebody, make sure you do it in love, not to try to prove them wrong or to try to win an argument. Make sure when you talk to somebody, any kind of difference you might have, make sure you do it in love and do it with respect. Verse 2 says, if I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have faith, I have all faith so that I can move mountains, but do not have love, I'm nothing. So, if you even have the gift of prophecy, you have the ability to, foretell or foretell God's message, is useless without love. And also it says that if you have knowledge, mysteries, God gives you mysteries and revelation, but if you don't have love, if you don't talk about these things in love, it's meaningless, right? So make sure that whenever you're talking to somebody or anything like that, make sure we're doing it in love. Next thing it says that even if you have the faith that can move mountains, which most of us don't have that kind of mountain-moving faith, or at least we don't think we do. But even if you have that kind of faith that they can move mountains, if you don't have love, it doesn't mean anything. So make sure that bottom line is that we have love. If we have God's love, Christ's love living through us, and that's got to be explained to others people in such a way that we love them. We love people. We're not looking for our own interests, we're trying to make ourselves look good, but we're trying to build others up and do it in love, right? So make sure whatever we do it in love. Verse 3 says, if I donate all my goods to feed the poor, and if I give my body in order to boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. So there are organizations out there, I'm not going to mention any names now, but there are organizations right now, they try to give money to the poor. However, sometimes they take some of the proceeds for themselves, for administration purposes. They don't all the money that you're giving to this organization doesn't necessarily go to the poor, which is not a good thing, obviously. Or sometimes people give to the poor, and they're not really giving it with the right reasons. And when you give to the poor, you should do it because you love God and you love people. Don't do it to say, okay, look, I gave us all this money. I gave all this money to the poor. Look at how great I am. No. When you give money to the poor, you should be looking at, you tell people how great God is. Because God is the one that gives us the money in the first place to be able to help others that are in need. So whenever we get to the poor, make sure we're doing it with the right motives. We don't do it with the motives of saying, hey, look at me, look how great I am. I gave all this money to the poor. So make sure you do the right motives. Do it in love. Don't do it out of pride or self-ambition. So next one we have it says, if I give my body in order to if I give my body in order to boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. And that's the Holman. And here it says, in verse 3 it says that if I surrender my body to the flames, but I have not love, I gain nothing. Last time I was going over sort of about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and Daniel with my daughter Victoria. We're talking about how they had to bow to this golden idol that Nebuchadnezzar set up. They said, no, we're not going to bow to this idol. Even if I know that God can deliver us, but even if He does not deliver us, we're not going to bow down to the idol. So that obviously they hated it, and Nebuchadnezzar was very angry. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego said they heated up like 7 times more than normal. So hot that even the people that feel that we're going to throw Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego into the furnace, they end up dying in the process. Then all of a sudden they looked in the furnace, and they saw 4 people. So they saw 4 people there in the furnace. And so of course God was with them in the furnace. He protected them, and they're walking around. They were not harmed. So actually, this is going to conclude part 1. I'm going to conclude part 2. So stay tuned. I'm going to have part 2. So God bless you, and keep watching videos, and it's going to be a part 2. Okay? Thank you.